Hey folks, this is Kalani, back on 6.2, and we're finally going to have a look at survival, because the 4-piece has finally been fixed. So, just a quick reminder, 2-piece is your black arrow increases all elemental damage done to the target, and this has been increased to 15%, which is nice to see a little buff to survival. And then the 4-set, which previously did no damage, your explosive shot causes a shadow nova on targets afflicted by black arrow. That is now doing damage. It's not a great deal of damage, but it does do it AoE. I'm not entirely sure if that's going to really make up for the lack of damage. This is a little run through we did with Focusing Shot and Shadow Nova. Here we are. Minimum hit of 1.8k, maximum hit of 5.7. So you basically just tag that on top of your explosive shot damage, and that's basically your 4-piece. Not the most exciting of things, but never mind. So, I've been playing around with Survival's talents a little bit, because I was running Focusing Shot with Steady Focus, and it really wasn't packing that great of a punch. So, over 1.84 million damage, 31k DPS. Not all too amazing. And with Shadowfax's attack being at the top, that's obviously my Stampede. That's kind of really disappointing to see. Like, even my Explosive Shot hasn't managed to beat out Stampede in the time that I was... I mean, I didn't want to go below 30k. If you go below 30k, I'm doing something wrong, so things need to change there. So we changed for Lone Wolf and Dire Beast. I tried this earlier, and it seemed to sustain a lot higher. So I think that's what we'll be going with. I'm kind of wondering between Dire Beast and Thrill of the Hunt, but I don't think Arcane Shot brings enough to the table anymore, especially now that your initial tick of Serpent Sting doesn't do its immediate damage on Arcane Shot. So I think Dire Beast, and for that to be a thing, we need Dire Beast on our bars. But the 2-set seems to be okay. 15% damage increase, and it lasts for 15 seconds rather. Bear in mind that's not the full duration of Black Arrow. Black Arrow lasts for 20 seconds, and the duration of the debuff is 15, although I don't recall seeing the debuff. So last time I was testing this, before 4-piece was fixed, actually, it had a different icon to show you the debuff, and that's not there anymore, so I don't actually know if that damage is being included in the damage that I am currently doing to this target. And if it's not, obviously that's skewing my DPS lower than what it should be, so bear that in mind. Now, the other thing that we're going to look at is the class and spec trinket, obviously. This, for survival, is actually a little disappointing. I'm not entirely sure. So Arcane Shot and Multi-Shot has a 76 rather percent chance to reset the cooldown of Black Arrow. So I don't know. I mean, you've got some options there with multi-dotting potentially. Multi-dotting and then maybe blowing stuff up. I don't know. The multi-dot is nice, but I'm wondering how many targets can you keep that up on? I mean, if you can keep that up with the 2-set, and then multi-shot to keep Serpent Sting up, and then dump your your explosive shots rather into a Black Arrow target to get the AoE effect. I mean, there's potential there for AoE. There is definite potential there. But that's a lot of setup, and that's a lot of relying on that RNG from that class trinket, which once again comes from the last boss in Hellfire Citadel. So I don't think that's going to be anything immediate going into Hellfire Citadel. That's going to be after you started farming stuff. But there is potential there, and that's kind of interesting. I wonder whether that will be able to compete with Beast Cleave in Beast Mastery though, because Beast Cleave you don't really have to set anything up. Here you have to have Black Arrow on as many targets as possible, keeping Serpent Sting up with multi-shot, and making sure you dump explosive shots into a Black Arrow target. I don't know, there's a bit there, but it's not quite as easy as just using multi-shot and letting your pet do the work. So we'll feign death. Hopefully all of our trinkets will be useful by now. So the main thing that I'm wondering about this, on single target, is it worth throwing your Black Arrow off if it's not going to only extend the duration of the debuff? So if it's got 5 seconds left, I'd say it's definitely worth it, because you get that extra 15% damage from your 2-set. But is it worth doing it before then? Like, does Black Arrow come before an Arcane Shot? Does Black Arrow come before Barrage? I seriously doubt it, but, you know, these are the things that we kind of need to think about. But I'll be honest, things don't really change all that much. We just have extra damage here, there, and everywhere. So, typical start. Arcane Shot to get Serpent Sting rolling with Black Arrow, Explosive Shot, Stampede in there somewhere, Dire Beast with Barrage. The issue with this spec is that you don't have Focusing Shot, so you're going to be starved for focus quite a lot, and you need to pull focus when you can. Which, again, comes back to that trinket, because that means you don't want to dump with Arcane Shot too much, but if you're trying to fish for those resets on Black Arrow because that's a DPS increase, it kind of contradicts itself there. But the Focusing Shot spec, as I said, was doing a lot less DPS. So, I mean, we're a lone wolf. Why do we even have a pet? Let's get rid of that pet and make sure we've got the multi-strike buff. Let's have a little look at how this would play out. I'm not entirely happy with Dire Beast because it doesn't feel like it adds anything to survival. Whereas, oh, we've lost Serpent Sting already. That's a brilliant start. But I don't think it adds enough to survival damage-wise. It's just a little bit of damage and a little bit of focus regen. I'm not sure it's going to be worthwhile. I wonder if Steady Focus without Focusing Shot would be worthwhile, but I haven't used that in such a long time. It feels as if the only time you would use Steady Focus now is with Focusing Shot, because even Beast Mastery ended up changing. That's going to be interesting to say the least, but I mean, we stayed above 40k for the duration of Stampede, and then after Stampede falls off, you kind of lose quite a bit of your potential, which isn't great to see, but it's pretty typical of Hunter right now. Stampede is a huge amount of damage. But I'm wondering at this point whether that trinket is actually worth the trinket slot. Because if the Black Arrow reset is not a damage increase, and I mean, if you don't necessarily want to use the Arcane Shots to try and fish for that reset, is it worth just using another static agility plus multi-strike trinket? I mean, there's plenty of trinkets to choose from in Hellfire Citadel, so we'll have to see how that works out. I don't know. I think they need to do a little bit more to survival to bring the numbers up. I mean, it's not like I'm using terrible gear for this either, because all my gear has multi-strike on it, more or less. Missing versatility, missing crit, but mastery should actually benefit a lone wolf spec a little bit more. So, I don't know. Maybe that's why my Focusing Shot spec isn't doing so great. But the damage just really doesn't seem to be there, which is thoroughly disappointing, because survival is one of the nicer specs to play. Or at least it is when you have nice set bonuses. I think the set bonuses for this one, this time around, are a little boring, potentially. I mean, the Shadow Nova doesn't really do much for you on single target, which means that it's both boring and it doesn't really bring the numbers. As I say, there's potential there for AoE. There's quite a bit of potential there for AoE. But I still don't see it beating Beastcleave. So, if you enjoy survival, things are changing a little bit. You get to see shiny little Shadow Novas pop out whenever you Explosive Shot something. You get more damage on your target when you Black Arrow them. And if you end up getting that trinket, then you can reset your Black Arrow. But I just don't think all of that adds up to a great deal of damage, which is disappointing to see. So if you want to pull decent numbers, you're probably going to be stuck with BM or Marksman, which may not be the nicer thing for a lot of people. I know a lot of people do enjoy Survival Hunter, and you know, I can see why. It's kind of a shame that our tier set kind of looks very Survival Hunter-y. But But never mind. That's how survival's shaping up. We'll have to do some sims here. I may be doing a few things wrong. We might be able to get a lot more out of the thrill of the hunt. And focusing shot with different stat allocations may actually pull ahead. So we'll have to see how things go. But that's survival, all your set bonuses, your trinket, and how things are shaping up. Not so great, not so great. But there we have it. If you have any questions or queries about any of the specs in 6.2, anything about Hellfire Citadel, please leave that in the comment section below. I'll try to get back to you. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching, folks. Good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.